And good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome to Hawthorne Racecourse for Thursday afternoon of Thoroughbred action. Jim Miller and Emily Gullikson here in our mezzanine level studios. We kick off our final week of racing for the Thoroughbred meet. Emily, 10 races today, 12 of them on Sunday. Lots of full fields too as everybody gets that final start into the meet.
Yeah, does it feel good to say the last day of Thursday afternoon racing of the year? It's so weird. It happens so quick. And this meet has been long, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's it.
Yep.
Penultimate day of racing. I handicapped Sunday's card. We have 12 on Sunday, and I write everything up in a Word document and like put it through. Over 100,000 words.
Really?
This meet.
There you go.
178 pages. So I always kind of feel intimidated. Like I want to write a book, and then I feel intimidated, and then I saw that, and I was like, I guess it's possible.
If the book's about handicap and races,
That's
there you
all
go.
I
That'll
know.
keep it.
Maybe a little roller derby, but yeah.
You'll have no problem filling pages for that. So you'll be just fine. But yes, it is. It's a very busy card on Sunday with everybody getting that last start in. 5 on the turf today, 4 on the grass Sunday. Turf course was rolled yesterday after training. Been fast and firm. It's been beautiful for weather. So let's take a look through the 10 race card as we don't have a ton of time and have a lot of races to cover. In the opener, maiden 2-year-olds in the first, they go 5.5 furlongs. Field of 7 to head postward in the opener. The bettors think it's a 1-horse race. 1 to 2 right now in the 7, high probability.
An eye-catching move going out of the gate in 46 and 3, and seems like the horse to be. They are betting as a 1-horse race. Probably if we do have to get through a lot of races, we can skip this one and come back around, as we'll be able to see the horses in the paddock. But I gave high probability a look in here, and we'll just see once we see him in the paddock.
I think he's definitely the horse to beat in this spot. We'll see how things unfold as we do get closer. But yeah, good-looking racehorse, good pattern of drills, and high probability I expect will be very tough there in race number 1. Race 2 today, 12 5-claimers, non-winners of 3 lifetime. You get a field of 6 to line up. They go 1 mile and a 16th in this spot. Stronger Together, the horse I laid as the 9 to 5 favorite in here. Bruce Banner could be a factor. Maybe Cinco de Mo. We'll see how things unfold. It kind of comes down to the pace for race number 2.
I had a really hard time kind of finding the horse in this race, even though there's only 6, and it's one of those spots where you feel like you want to pick one. I put a tentative lean on number 1, Bruce Banner. I think he's going to probably just get the right trip, and maybe that's the case. But at the same time, number 4, Stronger Together, should be in the right spot if there's ever going to be this meet.
Yeah.
So makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this is a horse that has been running well against the open $10,000 company, and they're just better than what they're facing here. So find things a little bit easier. I mean, Spanish Kiss probably shows speed. I just don't know if this one's fast enough to kind of carry things around. It seems like when they make the top, it's usually with a little bit slower pace.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Chance that things will be a little bit more bunched up there going into that first turn for race number 2. In the third, you get a field of 9 to head postward, scratch the 1, Storm's Reflection, and the 11, Go Emmy. From this field of 9, you have Temper Tantrum in here, you have Silver Quarters in this spot, Shady McGee. So there's some classy racehorses in this field, Soul Coaxin, even not a bad field for the $20,000 tag.
And I think there's a very contentious pace in here, which makes it even more tricky in terms of a handicapping puzzle, and probably upgrades number 2, Shady McGee, one that can be upgraded all around, coming back from that September 12th race. They were caught wide against the bias. They're going to return under similar conditions. While he was taking that step up on the day, the race par is a lateral move, certainly can compete. Racing luck will probably have to come into play for number 8, Silver Quarters, but he's one that absolutely fits. He's run some good races here, made that huge move against the Flow and Stakes Company back in August. So I gave him a look, and second tier to number 9, Temper Tantrum, as well as number 10, Soul Coaxing.
Yeah, E.T. since returning to the Jocks room has been riding very well. He's aboard Silver Quarters in this spot. I could definitely see that one putting forth a good effort, but I'm kind of with you. I like Shady McGee. We'll see what we get price-wise. This was a horse that was nearly 30 to 1 at this level in that last out. And ran a good race. I mean, the last 3 have all been pretty solid on the turf. No reason to think this horse can't repeat that performance. Eduardo Rodriguez has been really, really good throughout the course of the meet, too. So we'll take a shot at a little bit of a price with Shady McGee there in the third. Going to go back-to-back turf here for races 3 and 4. 1 mile on the grass for the 4. 20 claimers, now winners of 2 a lifetime. In this spot, kind of looking up and down things. Spicy Italian's going to be tough. West Coast Song should be. But I saw you going to give one more shot to Cowgirl Frankie, huh?
Are you not?
Nope.
Wow, okay.
Nope. Spicy Italian for me.
Okay, Spicy Italian makes a ton of sense, and I was really on both last time, but just figured in terms of price, Cowgirl Frankie, hopefully she has some pace to close into. She has that tendency to break slow. Would expect similar in here, but ran a sneaky good race, all things considered. Probably could give an excuse. Had that trouble at the start, had trouble in running. I'm surprised he didn't go back to her.
I wanted a little bit more.
Okay.
They go a 16th of a mile further today. That's going to benefit their chances. The horse is a better horse on the turf. I'll be curious to see what the price is. Got bet down to 8-1 in that last out. I laid the horse at 12-1 in here. I think the presence of Spicy Italian with the move back to the turf is going to help. West Coast Song coming in for Tony Granitz, I think, will be a factor in here. Get Out of My Kitchen from the barn of Manny Perez with ET. Another one that could be a contender, but the quick return for Spicy Italian I think was good enough for me with the move back to the grass course today. Fifth race on the card, 5 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. You get a field of 7 to line up in race number 5. Captain's Flag on the outside coming in off a good victory, and that one's the last out. You have Champagne Mike, you have Wild Time from Canterbury and Mining Camp. Pretty evenly matched bunch for the 5th.
And I went to number 1, Alibi Ike.
Right.
I thought the race last out, probably they needed, showed a middle move and then wasn't asked late. That course favored runners inside and forwardly placed. They're going to find that change to the rail. Could show early speed and even make the lead in this race. There's really no true confirmed front runner in the field, and that just might be the separator, and I thought it would be a little bit overlooked in the right time to get some value on Alibi Ike.
Yeah, the only other one that I thought maybe was going to show speed was Mining Camp here, but I was hoping for speed in that last out, but they had the 9-hole, got away a step slowly, made a little bit of a middle move before flattening out late, so maybe if they send from the 4-hole, they can make the top, but you're right, nobody's really committed to the front end. Champagne Mike is the route that I went here. It's David Cohen back aboard for Dan Simonovich. This is a horse that's improved in those last couple. Chase sent him down the road in that last out, was a clear second in there, but really no match for the winner. Just chased every step of the way. Maybe the same thing happens, but we'll see. David Cohen's been very good all meet long, so give a shot to that one in race number 5. In the 6th, we have the 50 cent a late pick 5. We have that carryover today, $7,709. Allowance runners go 5.5 furlongs. Scratch the 5, stroll into the market. Scratch the 13, Ravenstown. It's a field of 11 in here. I like Dinos Dixie from the inside to clear and go the whole way around, but I saw that you were possibly looking at a couple of others in this spot.
I went to number 7, Sir Pistolero on top. He's an upgraded from the race that looked like a prep just 2 weeks ago. That race was taken off the turf, moved to the main track, and won impressively by their stablemate King of the Palace. The changes for this race suggest intent with the timing, has those numbers in competitive races, finishing in the blanket finishes out in California, and those races would fit on par. So I like Sir Pistolero in here. The barn sent out some live runners, especially on the turf. I put him on top. I just think the pace in terms of Dinos Dixie fits as an individual, but it's probably going to have to overcome that and a little bit more pace pressure in here.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to find out with the other 2 speed horses all the way on the outside, and Nagy and the Bears and Anger Rise. It's just a question of if they're able to go in this spot or if Dinos Dixie can clear from the inside. I think ET is going to be hard pressed to just kind of go from the rail. If that one's fast enough and can clear, it could be tough, but you're right. If they have pressure, it could be a complete fall-apart race, and numerous horses could come running at them late. Race 7 is the Methuselah, $5,000 claimers for 7-year-olds and up in here. Scratch the 1, Midnight Blue Note. Scratch the 7, Diamond Dave. Field of 8 the lineup. Danville's going to be the favorite in this spot. I tried to beat this one with Devil Vision, but Danville clearly the horse to beat today.
I think Danville's a legit type. He's taking the class drop, which doesn't bother me because it's the final week, right? So you see this a lot, just kind of time and time again, regardless of the meet. Connections just get aggressive, right? They're looking for that win, and they think at this point, you know, if somebody wants to go in and claim, so be it. He's probably at the right level to compete. I think he's a legitimate favorite in here.
And you figure he's been claimed for 8,500, claimed for 13.5. So it's not like he's been a horse that's been up there and was claimed for 30 and now is dropping in for 5. He's kind of working his way back down after trying the allowance level, running some decent races. I did pick him second. I'm going to Devil Vision in this spot. I thought the last race was pretty good. Christmas Present was all alone on the lead that day. Just got to kind of cruise along on the front end. This was really the only one running on late in that spot. And it could possibly be a key race because some other horses out of that race are back in on the Sunday card. But we'll see if maybe we can get a little bit of an upset with Devil Vision there in the 7th. 8th race is a really good race. $50,000 optional claimers go 7.5 on the turf. Scratch the 7, She's Wonderful. And the 13, Baby Gundam. As of now, the 14, Morg's World does draw in. You have that field of 12 in this spot, Emily, and again, you look up and down the field, Block has Facciabella and Trail Ridge Road in here. I know you went one way, I went the other in this spot.
I actually went to a former Chris Block, still similar connections with number 4, Miss River Rat. One that's playable in this race, I think she's just going to get some price compensation. But as far as number 10, Trail Ridge Road, I think there's things to like as far as the surface distance move. That's where they're at their best. And Facciabella, I think, is very solid. That's where you went, right? I'm assuming. Just distance-wise and trip, I'm a little bit concerned at a short price, but certainly capable.
Facciabella's been good. The thing that kind of got me off that one and over to Trail Ridge Road is just that David Cohen's on Trail Ridge Road instead of Facciabella in this spot. Take nothing away from Miss River Rat, who's been solid. I think Gypsy Reward on the outside's a horse that could be a little bit of a factor too. I was just searching for a little bit more of a price more than anything.
We're pretty much in line.
Yeah,
Because I preferred Trail Ridge Road over Facciabella for sure.
And it's just, again, Facciabella is going to take a good amount of action in there. It's worth just kind of trying to see what you can come up with, maybe to cash a little bit of a ticket with that late pick 5. Race 9, $5,000 claimers. They go 1 mile and 70 yards. It's a field of 10 to line up in the spot. Shabam is a horse that I think is going to be quite tough. A really good win on the main track in that start 2-back. I just think figures-wise, this is a horse that just has a little bit too much over the remainder of the field.
And I agree until I look at the plot, and then looking at the plot, really not that much of an edge when you put this field together. So that's the one concern when anytime you have a favorite, they should look like a standout in every possible way. So while I think Shabam makes a lot of sense, definitely will use, no knocks on any of the other handicapping factors, but I'm going to try for number 4, Princess Tanko. Been chasing the whole time, but if there is that contention in here, she's going to come running late and maybe is just overdue and then finally pops at a big number.
Well, and it's going to be a big number today.
Yes.
I mean, this is a horse I've chased and chased and chased and chased. I've stopped chasing. Just not doing it anymore. Shabam is the route I'm going to. Morning Line News I thought could be a factor. Childproof's going to show speed as well. It's just going to be kind of what the trip is going that mile, 70 yards. Maybe Princess Tanko surprises me today.
If she was going to be a short price, I would be 100% with you, but I feel like it's one of those like zigzag moments, right? Like everyone's kind of been on, she's been just coming up short when she's supposed to win. Now everyone jumps off with the barn change, the change in class, and just could get the right pace scenario for her run style.
Right, so we'll see just kind of what we get there, but it's worth looking at some prices with these big fields too. Everything 10 or more as you're going through, aside from the one race with a couple of scratches. The last race on the spot, it's a full field of 12. Take out Flying Cricket, the 13. That one's re-entered for Sunday. And you look in here, you get Interlude from the barn of Louis Roussel, who's going to be a factor. Shotgun Runner from the Cody Rosine barn, who could be tough. And then Mashiva, who was actually entered in the Hawthorne Derby, as was on the AE, scratched out of there. They get their maiden race today. Just be curious to see if it kind of comes down to one of those 3.
And then you didn't even mention Chris Block has 2 in here with License to Steal, as well as
Nitschke.
Yep. Okay. Nitschke. But yeah, I went to number 2 Interlude, one that I followed back at the fairgrounds, ran a better than looked effort, and then it's just been really compromised with the weather and the layoff lines, but I think this is the right spot in here. So keying off Interlude, then I'll probably mess around with License to Steal a little bit.
Yeah, inside draw for Interlude, really should get the right trip. I'm very curious to see what the pace is in here because nobody's committed to the front. There's a bunch of horses that could kind of bunch up there. But I want to see. Maybe CV Road and Legacy goes out there and goes on the stretch and distance. But it could be an interesting race.
Yeah, and then you have the first-time starters, which maybe they show speed. You just don't know.
So
but
we'll see what we get. We'll see what we get. Right, one of those just kind of going and cruising along out there and see how things unfold in the finale. All right, that's how we see the 10 races today here on this Thursday afternoon. Again, sunny skies, fast main track. Firm turf course today. Let's flip back and take a look at the field for the openers. We go 5.5 furlongs in the first. Maiden 2-year-olds in this spot with that field of 7 and Emily. The 7 high probability remains your favorite on the board, currently sitting right now at 3 to 5.
Well, obviously Larry Ravelli knows how to get horses ready to go first out. This one's showing some really fast works coming into this race. Shows up making a good appearance in here, has the blinkers on, which is very customary for this barn. Seems well men in here, has opened up pretty short odds, has remained favoritism. We're currently seeing 3 to 5.
Yeah, it's a good looking racehorse. Like you mentioned before, the works have been tremendous. I actually prefer the outside draw for the first timer when there's only 7 in here. If it was 12, maybe a little bit different story, but with only 7, long enough run into the turn. I think this horse will be quick out of the gate. I think they'll go out there. It's just kind of the typical style for Ravelli. Try to go out there, clear, show that speed, and say, come and get me. And I don't know if they're going to be able to off those works. So I think this is going to be a horse that will take action and probably run to that figure there. Currently sitting right now at 3 to 5. After that, everything opens up on the board. The 5-horse 3 of Fleet is an intriguing horse. This one from the barn of Hugh Robertson. Israel Hernandez gets the call today. It's the Illinois bred facing Open Company in here. I kind of like the pattern of drills. I like that they stretched out in those recent works, so stamina will be no issue first out, and it's a good-looking racehorse in the paddock.
He looks absolutely great, extremely fit, and I thought this was a very intriguing runner and certainly an alternative to the favorite. He is an Illinois bred taking on open company, but again, it's getting down to the end of the meet,
right.
And for an Illinois bred, you're not going to have any opportunities to run for that bonus until next year, so you take advantage of it. The Hugh Robertson barn doesn't often debut a lot of 2-year-olds early, or at least win early
right.
in the season, and later in the year, things start to change, so I don't mind that timing either, and I like what I'm seeing from him. I think he's got a big look in here, 10-1.
Yeah, 10-1, a good price there on a horse that has a good-looking racehorse in the 5-3 Fleet. The 3 is Stranger's Church. Stranger's Church at 6-1. This one from the barn of Louis Roussel. You get a look at that one right there. Debuted here at Hawthorne in the mud, ran second to Ravens Ransom, then went over to Horseshoe Indianapolis to face Indiana Breds. Just missed by 3/4 in that start there. Looks to kind of rate and run on late, but again, you had the 11 hole out of 11 in that last out. A little bit better draw, maybe sits a little bit closer as well.
Well, that's really going to be up to him because in both those races he broke slow. He had to rush up last out, made a wide move, finished in a blanket at the wire. Even the debut here back in July was quite good. It was a better than looked ever with that second place finish. B Optics traded in both those races. So he's preferred of the experienced runners. But again, it just comes down to that habit of breaking slow, and that can just become a liability. But of the horses that have experience, he has the edge.
Yeah, better break today is definitely the key. And if he gets away in good order, he could be the one to challenge high probability. That's
a big
right.
If.
It is. It's a big if for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, he could be a threat. 4 is Neoteric. Neoteric right there at 7-1. This one from the barn of Tim Padilla. Constantino Roman back to ride. He rode throughout the course of the Canterbury meet. Debuted on the grass actually and chased in that spot. Shift over here to the dirt, but the drills on the main track have been okay. Another one that's a pretty good looking racehorse.
And has some fitness, wheels back in just 12 days from that debut. Is another one that was off a little bit slow, then rushed up along the inside. And the top 4 were together at the wire, so when you see that 4th place finish, just keep that in mind. You kind of have those top 4 in a blanket at the wire.
Right, and then they look to the 6th, that's Real Blues. Real Blues, 9-1. Lexus Centeno rides for Jimmy DeVito. The key to me is that work on September the 8th. That was a half mile from the gate, 48 seconds, second best of 44 in there. Then after that, a couple of halves following that. One of them, again, from the gate. I expect they probably get away in good order with a couple of gate drills here. It's just a matter of what kind of early foot they have.
The work tab was a little bit puzzling to me. There's just a couple questions that you have. Again, when you have the published work tab, there's so many things that you don't know unless you can actually see the works. But a lot of times if I just see a lot of gate works on paper, it makes me wonder, is this a horse that has some issues, and that's why they keep going back to the gate?
Sure.
And then there's nothing in the series that's beyond 4 furlongs. But again, you never know what they're doing past the wire or what they call in and things like that. Exactly. So those are just kind of 2 unknowns that I had on him that I wanted to get a look. And I mean, honestly, there's nothing. All the first-time starters in here look great. He's another one. Maybe he's going to need a race probably a little bit more quiet than the other 2. Maybe even want a little bit more ground, but he wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, nothing to knock it all by any means. The one walking in front of him is the one that's Royal and Ready. This one from the barn of Tanner Tracy. Another one that debuted on the turf. That was back on September the 8th. Never really got in the mix, kind of hung wide in that spot. Journey was a good winner. Royal Bro did come back to win out of that race. Now you move to the inside, you move to the dirt. They are getting a little bit of action, though, at 11-1.
And that is the difference from the debut because he was extremely cold on the board and even made a positive appearance, which he looks really good once again. Ended up racing wide, lacked a lead change. But just noticing there was really no tote action on him first out. And as you mentioned, he's getting a little bit more wagering support today, so that could be a positive sign.
Yeah, and then lastly is the 2 right there, Sneaky Feet. Frank Reyes for Fernando Bahena. Dropped in for 25 in that last, posted an improved effort. Back up for the maiden allowance. Will need pace to chase, but if they get it, the horse should come running at him late.
I would have a hard time seeing this one kind of break that minor roll at this level. I thought the drop last out made a ton of sense. As you mentioned, he moved up. He ran a competitive race, but now they're stepping back up in class. Could have a hurdle. The experience is definitely on his side, but class can be a different monster, and there could be some live runners in here.
Yeah, I think in here, though, they're going to be hard-pressed to defeat the 7 high probability, so we'll see if that one gets the job done. Right now is your 4-5 favorite. Is in the opener, we offer Win Play Show, Exact to Try Super, Double Pick 3, a Place Pick 8, and the start of the early Pick 5. Horses heading out momentarily for the first.
Racing fans, looking ahead to today's second race, we have a program note. In the second race, number 6, Cinco de Mo, The ownership should read Kelly's Racing Limited Liability Corporation, principal owner Joseph Kelly. Looking ahead to the 7th race, number 2, Woke Up in Love. Ownership should read Kelly's Racing Limited Liability Corporation, principal owner Joseph Kelly. Coming on the track for the Thursday opener, they'll go 5 1/2 furlongs on a fast main track, field of 7, no changes, win place show, exacted trifecta, superfecta wagering. This race starts the rolling daily doubles, rolling pick 3s, the 50-cent early pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. 5 minutes till post, they are parading. Here they are, 1 Royal and Ready, Rachel Slavinsky riding. 2 Sneaky Feet will be handled by Frank Reyes. 3 is Stranger's Church, Orlando Mojica board. 4 is Neoteric with Constantino Roman. 5, 3 of Fleet, Israel Hernandez riding. 6 is Real Blues, Alexis Centeno. And number 7, High Probability, David Cohen will bring him to the gate. They'll all be there in about 5 minutes to kick off the Thursday program. Once again, the dirt track is fast, turf is firm, rail set at 0 feet on the turf course. We're 4 minutes away from post time. If you missed it earlier, the wind is picking up a bit. We have a tailwind in the home stretch now of about 5 to 8 miles per hour. Racing fans, a little time remains for you to wager on today's first race here at Hawthorne, which features rolling daily doubles, rolling pick threes, the 50-cent pick five, and the $1 place pick eight. We have a 10-race card, and much like it's been for the last couple of weeks here, just gorgeous weather for the races here at Hawthorne. Track is fast, turf is firm, rail set at 0 feet. Those conditions will stay throughout the day. We do have a couple carryover pools to tell you about. Sixth race, the late pick five carryover is $7,709. That starts on the sixth race. Late pick five carryover $7,709. The 10th race has a high five carryover of $1,188. We do thank you for joining us, wherever it may be across the betting network. We are close to starting time for race one here at Hawthorne. Moving towards the gate, less than a minute. Racing fans are at the starting gate for today's first race. Horses are entering the starting gate. Last two to go in will be Neoteric and High Probability. Waiting for High Probability. They're all in the gate. They're off. In between horses, Stranger's Church going for the lead. Then moving toward the inside, Royal and Ready. In between horses, moving up, Sneaky Feet. Rushing up on the far outside are Neoteric and Real Blues. Make that High Probability. And the trailing pair are Three of Fleet and Real Blues. And they move around the turn. Less than a half mile to go. On the inside, Stranger's Church. On the outside, High Probability. These two on even terms. 2 lengths back, Neoteric gaining ground. 6 lengths back, Real Blues coming on. Royal and Ready dropping back. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Strangers Church on the inside, high probability on the outside, still locked in a head-and-head duel. Here's Neoteric now picking up the leaders, 3 deep. Real Blues now moving to the outside, and that one has a whole lot of steam. Strangers Church draws clear by 2. Neoteric and Real Blues, high probabilities dropping back. They're coming down to the wire. Strangers Church in the Thursday opener won it by 3. Tight for second between Real Blues and Neoteric. Sneaky Feet came on to be 4th. In today's first race, 3 Strangers Church finished first, 6 Real Blues second, 4 Neoteric third, 2 Sneaky Feet fourth. 3642 is posted. It's unofficial. That running time 105.95. 105.95 the running time. Returning the unofficial winner, 3 Strangers Church. Strangers Church owned and trained by Louis Russell. The third was ridden to victory by Orlando Mojica. Today's first race is official, running time 105.95. The $1 exacted 3-6, $14